Everyone's vision of their dream house is different. For some, it's built in a special location. It's a modern, super cool design. For others, it's a house that can be built quickly and affordably. I thought my dream house would take 12 to 15 months of construction to complete. High quality work and materials and reliable contractors to come to fruition. Surprisingly, how it happened turned out to be the complete opposite. It took 24 months of hard work, dealing with difficult paperwork, COVID, a storm in Texas, and so many other unexpected challenges. Who is coming here? They are digging up the ground and then leaving. I want to share with you, honestly, what challenges I faced while building my dream house and how I dealt with them.
Let's go!
My name is Igor Stepanov. I build dream houses. When we think of our dream house, everyone imagines something different in their mind. However, there are some common things we all think about when picturing our dream house. One common trait between dream houses is ergonomics, or our movements inside our house and the allocation of its interior. Another is the comfort and how we feel through our five senses while living and spending time in our home. Lastly is aesthetics, which is texture and materials the house is constructed of, light combinations, decor, and so on. All three of these common elements create a dream house when combined, creating the living space of our dreams. It's what we hoped for when we began construction on my house. We had expectations when we began building the house, especially on the construction deadlines. When I started building this house, I planned to finish it within 12 to 15 months. From buying the land to moving into the house, I wanted it to be completed from start to finish in 15 months. In reality, 12 to 15 months is just enough to complete the construction of a dream house. I experienced all the possible challenges when constructing my house, and I want to share the solutions to those challenges that helped me make my dream house a reality. Let's start with the planning. When we plan for a house's location, we usually begin by identifying what the east, west, south, and north-facing sides of the house will be. We also take into account the views we will have from a future any planned terrace, balconies, and windows. After the house location and positioning are planned, we imagine such practical things as the way I will drive or walk to the house, the way I will enter it, and where my front door and walls will be. This is essential to plan. For example, many delivery companies like Amazon experience difficulties in searching delivery addresses. We should consider things like this when planning our house from the very beginning. We made our address, for example, very bright and visible right on the front of the house. This helps delivery drivers or emergency vehicles see the address of our house. Usually, these are well-placed numbers somewhere on the front of your home, but for some reason, not many houses have highly visible addresses in Texas. We also thought about what a person who enters the house will see and what it will feel like. For the entry to our house, we planned a large, wide corridor that creates the feeling that the house is inviting to guests. This main hall and entry to the house are divided into two zones. The first zone is the kitchen, where the hostess or the owner cooks or prepares meals throughout the day. The second zone is a sitting/recreation area. When we planned the sitting area, we imagined how I could watch nature through vast windows while sitting by the fireplace, viewing the gorgeous forest in the backyard. We made a huge panoramic window in the sitting area so you can see the deer, foxes, and squirrels that live in our forest. Our lot and the position of the house are located so that part of our site is a clean, open forest. Although, having planned my dream house, unforeseen challenges could still occur. I never could have predicted what would happen next in this process. The first is the permit documentation. When we bought the site, I applied for a permit to build. The person who filled out the documents for me promised the documents would be ready in 3 months. After 3 months, as a responsible builder, I asked him where my documents were. He answered, "I need 3 more months." So the next 3 months passed, and then on March 12th, the lockdown closed everything. Travis County was shut down completely, and we found ourselves between a rock and a hard place. For the next 6 months, the process with documents was completely frozen. Let's focus now on the septic system, as it deserves special attention. The 12-month delay was due to the receipt of documents for the septic system in Travis County. The main permit that is issued for the construction of a house is a permit for the septic system. The permit usually takes 3 to 6 months to complete. A septic engineer creates a septic design and submits a project for this permit. Only after the septic project has been approved can construction begin. The delay with the permit for the septic tank took 12 months. Once the permit was finally finished and we had passed all the checks, we could begin construction. The first check is the inspection of the septic tank. The second check is septic tank field inspection, how it is installed, if it is correctly located, and where all the systems are located. The final check is when a septic tank is finally covered with grass. It must be covered with grass. The inspector engineer arrives and checks the septic tank for its final inspection. Nothing can be built on septic tanks, and nothing can be done on the ground above them. The irrigation system cannot be built over the septic tank either. The backyard we have is big enough. We could extend it as our site goes further to the very top of the hill on our lot. On the top of the hill, there is space, if desired, to build a pool. If I lived in this house, I would likely build a pool on top of the hill sometime in the future. My children could swim in the pool and play in the backyard someday. 15 months after buying the lot, we finally received our documents on February 10th, 2021. We had already agreed with a contractor who was set to start working soon on the lot. When I woke up on February 15th and opened the curtains, I saw over 3 feet of snow in our backyard. In Texas, people went sledding and snowboarding, and of course, we had to postpone the start of construction of the house. After a week of torment, with no power, broken pipes, and a lot of suffering, on February 20th, we started the construction of our dream house. When we moved around the house, we all faced constantly turning the lights off and on. To turn the light on or turn off, there is no need to go to another corner to get the switch. The Architectural Bureau plans this initially, where the light should turn off in the hallway, the kitchen, the toilet, wardrobe, the garage, and so on. If, for example, I go out into the garage, it's dark here now. I can turn off the light here from this room. But there is also the same switch here that turns off the light in the garage and the corridor too. We should consider this as a person moving around the house and suddenly needs to turn on the light. I took this knowledge from my retail background, having been in retail for many years. The world of custom journeys is a very familiar concept for me. A custom journey is just the movement of a person, in this case, around the house. Here, we are talking about a person who will live in the house and want to feel comfortable moving around it. We should consider what difficulties he could face living here. We are trying to solve these difficulties at the design stage. This is called ergonomics. when everything is conveniently located inside the house. When I wash the dishes, I can put some of the dishes in the dishwasher under my right hand, and some of the dishes I can hold in my left hand. For example, we designed such a box under the left hand so I can immediately put all the dishes there. There is also a well-thought-out place for the garbage, even dividing it into two baskets, one for waste and one for recycling. There is a window nearby that was added for aesthetics. It is also worth mentioning, when you work in the kitchen, you can look at the window and watch the beautiful forest and even a spider that may have built its web in the front of the window. I always think of such tiny things when designing a house. Such aesthetics and decor created for mood and comfort. For example, when you look at this wall of stone, you feel the warmth and coziness of it. Or when the window of the upper and the lower floors are interconnected by aluminum panels, these aluminum panels look like wood. But in terms of service life, they can serve for 10 years. Unlike wood, they do not need to be painted. This is also an advantage. And they are quickly mounted on the ceiling. My guys assembled them in half a day, and it was very quick. I want to draw your attention to the pantry now. There is a window in every pantry. This is also unusual for Texas construction. Here, opposite the desktop and Highlander, we also have a floor-to-ceiling window that opens to a view of the forest. This is also a part of ergonomics. Part of aesthetics is just part of the convenience to your house and its layout. You can see your children playing or a dog running outside through well-placed windows. On the right, there is a powder room. And next to it, there is an interesting room under the stairs. Usually, this space under the stairs is used for a closet, but we managed to create a unique room where a pet can live or children can play, or just beautiful flowers are grown. The flowers will be visible from the street due to the window. A pet will be able to be seen from the street through the window that is located under the stairs. Due to the deferred demand during the lockdown, all the supply chains did not work well. The producers did not work, then started to work to cope with the volume of orders. So any ordered product had to have waited for 5 or 6 months. Here's an example. The garage doors. I called 3 garage construction companies 2 months before our project completion. They were local, Texas companies. Each of them promised to finish the doors by December or January. I finished this project on the 5th of September, so I would not wait until December. I called Ukraine and asked the companies there. They brought the doors. They were here. In 2.5 months, we installed them and finished the house in September. When we settled in Austin in this area, Apache Shores, we lived in a house that was built a few years ago. I ran into a problem. I had a panoramic window that was twice as small as this one. To open it, I had to turn the latches up to one side or another. Moreover, when the window was opened, it for some reason creaked very strongly. I immediately wanted to change this in my projects, and I decided to use a European window. This is a European type of opening. That is, when we press the door, the handle rises. You can see the door. It moves up on special wheels. After that, the window begins to smoothly open to the side. In the same way, reverse closure occurs. So the door moves quickly along the runners, Moreover, when I choose windows for our projects, I order window profiles from Greece. This one is produced in Greece. The double-glazed windows are wider than the American standard, and inside there is argon gas. All these elements combine to create silence in the house. Now, there is machinery outside working on our other project. But there is silence in the house. Listen to the silence. Now, absolute isolation. When I invited the contractors who make isolation, they drew the scheme on my plan with the lines of future isolation. I was extremely surprised to see the lines alongside outside house borders. There was zero line inside, between the rooms or floors. I asked why, and they answered that most people usually do the isolation outside to save money. When I did it, I ordered it outside. Open form, and inside all walls, soundproof isolation. When I asked them to do it on the walls, they asked me 3 times, "Are you sure that's what you want to do on all the walls?" I said that yes, this is my demand for all projects. All my Art Village projects are equipped with wall isolation in all walls. This gives a significant effect. When there is a person on the second floor, we do not hear them. In the house where I live, I hear my child's fingers moving on the keyboard when he is playing on a computer in his room. This is a huge drawback when you save on isolation. I want to change the technologies I met here. I want to change it, and therefore we put isolation in all walls. Absolutely all of them. Even if this is the wall between the pantry and the toilet. It creates an atmosphere of warmth and comfort and silence. The most important thing is the passage to the second floor. We wanted to make it as bright as possible. They usually try to hide the staircase, making its space very closed. Due to the windows, we managed to make this space open. It is probably my favorite part of this house. It is a very, very light staircase, well seen from the streets. It creates a very good effect on the house. When we move around the house, first we see everything. We have no closed space. The effect of wide space is created here. We are moving to a recreation area. We have 3 rooms, 2 of which have high, wide ceilings. High ceilings are almost not made by chance. Since the space of the house is quite small because of the size of its site, we wanted to make the feeling of large rooms here due to the high ceilings. The rooms are located on different sides. For example, the master bedroom is on the back side of the house. When a person is resting in the front of the house, he could hear street noises or anytime there is some movement. So usually the master bedroom is located on the back side of the backyard so that a person can rest and feel calm in silence. Here, we place 2 rooms side by side. They will probably be either children's or guest rooms, or offices, I don't know. People can choose themselves. We also thought about another type of closet. It is the European-style closet when the compartment door closes and opens. How does it relate to ergonomics? Well, we have a wall and it is very convenient. Typically in American houses, we see the closet when we enter. We see that little door, go in, and see the space inside, which we can take some things. Here, the story is completely different. You can take your things from any side and any door. It is the opportunity to make your choice faster and easier because you see all things. there is a lot of light, you can divide it into zones. For example, there are zones for work, zones for rest, and so on. We provided boxes in which you can put your things. At first, it seems to be about comfort, but at the same time, it is about ergonomics because you can easily get your things and find what you need. You do not feel such discomfort at the separate entrance. Also, we made a switch here and at the entrance. You can turn off this light, which is also very convenient. Here, I want to pay attention to the second exit to the terrace. This is just about ergonomics. I have seen this in different houses. To go to the terrace, we have to go through the corridor to another door. It could be the same in this house, but I thought it out and made this door as a separate entrance to the terrace. This is a small laundry room, as everyone knows. There is usually a washer and a dryer. But we thought about a place where you can iron. This is a special place where an ironing board will be placed. Here, you can place the shelves. This room had a completely different design. When we made the frame, I saw that it was small and uncomfortable. We moved the bathroom a little and made it a place for ironing and storing things. If we go back to the dream house, I always ask myself what my dream bedroom would be. The answer was always it must be a quiet place with a beautiful view. When I wake up in the morning, I can go out to the terrace to breathe in the air or simply open the door. Here is also an opportunity to open the door and air the room out. A bedroom is a hidden place in a dream house. When I ask myself these questions, I realize that the bedroom should look at the backyard to the forest. We should have panoramic windows that open the view of the forest. This is the quietest place in the house. For example, in the house where I live now, it is quite noisy because there is a road nearby. Often, I wake up at 1 or 2 o'clock at night when a car passes by. Here, it is impossible. In this bedroom, it will be comfortable to sleep. We also made a high ceiling. It was a concept. But because technically it was impossible to make a ceiling like a roof without beams, we turned them into such a design element. In addition, we added a little more fun to the ceiling. You can turn on the LED backlight and arrange a small party in your pajamas in your dream bedroom. We are moving to the dream bathroom. This is also one of mine and my wife's favorite places because everyone wants to have their bathroom where you can drink a glass of champagne while watching the forest with deers. We foresee this opportunity and make it possible in all our village art houses. They all have a separate set bath near a window. According to Ergonomics, we also plan the view one will have when they're taking a shower. Here's the same story. I look at the forest, and if I'm tired, I can sit on this bench to rest. We also have 2 showers, a convenience that makes it possible to speed up the process of getting ready together, in the morning especially. Usually, when I take a shower, my wife is waiting. Here, we have provided a large panoramic mirror that expands the space. This is also about ergonomics. Plus, everyone has their zone. You can see yourself and your spouse in this very large mirror. For expansion, we use quite a lot of accent walls here. They are for comfort and aesthetics. Nevertheless, the accent wall created the feeling of warmth in a house. The main place for a woman in a house is the closet. The window for a closet has two parts, for one partner and the other partner. Also, the window provides a natural light that is an important element of comfort and the feelings we have living in the house. In conclusion, we had been waiting for a permit for 15 months. But the house was built in 7.5 months. Taking into account the down supply chains, COVID situation, and a snowstorm, overloaded contractors who could not be reached by phone, it was still possible to build a dream house in 7.5 months. Whenever someone promises you that they can build a house for you in 9 or 10 months, ask them about the difficulties he has experienced and how he solved them. You can build a house in 8 or 9 months, but there would have to be no failures in the chain supplies, no COVID situation, and the permit has already been received. These conditions are very important. There must also be several contractors with signed price agreements. All contracts must be signed and all estimates received. Only after that, you can understand that this person or this company will be able to build your dream home in 8 to 10 months.